Hi guys, welcome back to Music Mancy 101. I'm Nikita, your music teacher, and yes, you are my music student now. It is official. So first things first, as always, give yourself a big pat on the back for taking the time to work on your own personal instrument. Good for you guys, good for you. So today we're going to be talking about diction with a focus on diphthongs. Isn't that a great word? Diphthongs. Diphthongs. I've been kind of avoiding this lesson for a while because it can get a little complicated, but I'm learning that you guys kind of at least need to know that this part of language exists. So it'll help you get a better understanding of what I'm talking about when I use all these different analogies and stuff to talk about tall vowels, right? How the space that we make inside of our mouth, that is part of how we pronounce our words. And as singers, we kind of have to tweak the normal speaking vowels to suit what we need, right? As we know, the correlation between high notes and the amount of air you need and the amount of space you need, right? We already know that that's a fact. So we have to kind of adjust these vowels from time to time. And knowing all the little in-between vowels, right? All these little in-between sounds that we don't really think about but still make really helps facilitate that. So a disclaimer, as usual, especially for my adults, I say this all the time, but I swear it bears repeating. The things I'm going to ask you to do might feel big and open, just weird and maybe extreme. My buddy Jason was just telling me it felt operatic, right? Operatic. And I'm here to tell you, if that's the case, if it feels operatic and still feels easier, right? I say easier, then you're doing it right, right? Your voice at its best will feel like nothing, right? So if it feels easier, you're doing it right. A lot of you guys need that confirmation. I swear, you guys, I listen to you guys sing and it'll be perfect and you'll look at me like, did I do it right? And I'm like, you gotta feel if you did it right. So if you feel nothing, if you feel ease, if it just kind of flows, then observe that. Figure out what exactly it is that you're doing with your instrument, because that means you're doing it right. So so in warm-ups, we always want to do the extremes, right? We're figuring out our boundaries, kind of like little kids in the sandbox. We're trying to figure out what we can get away with. So today we're going to talk about diction and diphthongs, specifically with a warm-up that I call "a la to sing." I say it that way first because I need you guys to think of it that way. It sounds kind of like gibberish, and that's the point. So "a la to sing," and make sure that to is really open and tubular, right? "A la to sing." Say it a couple times, right? Nice and smooth. Don't disconnect the sound. A la to sing, right? And I'm barely even hitting that G. And there's a reason for that, and that's because I don't want to close my air off. G tends to close the air, stop the air completely. So I'm just barely touching it, like a little whisper of a G. So, a la to sing. Now, the reason why I say it like that, the actual words are, I love to sing, which is nice. It's fine. You think, oh, I can sing that normally. Why do I have to say ah la to sing, right? And it's because with this warm up, the first two notes are going to be a big jump. They're going to be an octave, 8 notes apart. So we need our first vowel to be ready for that higher note. And what did we say earlier? Higher notes need more air and more sound. Excuse me. More air and more sound. The higher you go, it's just positive correlation. So when we're jumping from a low note to a high note, I call it the springboard note. That first note needs to be set and in place in order for you to easily get up there, which means it's going to need to be a little bigger and need, a little bit bigger so that it can jump up to that higher note, which needs more space. So just to make it a little more uniform. So I'm going to demonstrate the warm up and then I'll have you join me for a couple. So I'm going to start relatively low. If it's too low, just jump in when it feels right. Vice versa. If it's too high, jump out, whatever you need to do, as long as you're not hurting yourself. So, good posture as always. We want that regal stature, lots of distance between the earlobes and the shoulders, chest elevated. When we breathe in, we expand our ribs as well as our lungs, of course. And then also when we exhale, we don't collapse. So, here we go. Solo for me. I'm doing another. I love to sing. I love to sing. There we go. Ooh, my voice is shaky today. So ah, la, to, sing. I don't even say the V really, because I want to keep that air as smooth and consistent as possible, right? When I'm listening to my singers, I'm listening to their airflow, right? The flow of their sound, and listening for breaks. And then when I hear a break in that sound, I then address it with, okay, do we need to make more space? What's going on inside? Do we need more air? What's happening? So as you go up, make sure it's nice and smooth. If you're finding that you're having breaks in between, make sure that you're breathing deeply and supporting that air and using that air, right? When I say breathing, that includes inhaling as well as using that air when you exhale. So I'm going to start a little bit higher just for me today. We're going to start on E, E3. I love to sing. I really should have warmed up before I started recording. But here you go. Here we are. La, and those first two sounds should be the same vowel. Ah, la, right? Big breath. Here we go. I love to sing. Nice and smooth. I love to sing. Give that high note the air needs. I love to sing. I love to sing. I love to sing. I love to sing. Some of you might be hitting your passaggio right here, or maybe a little bit before. Remember, more air and more space. Big breath. I love to sing. 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 Nice and open and relaxed. I love to sing. For my guys, join in when you can. Big breath. I love. Forgive me. I love to sing. I love to sing. Nice and smooth. I love to sing. I love to sing. I love to sing. I love to sing. Relax the jaw, breathe. I love to sing. I love to sing. All right, guys, you're on your own. Breathe deep and slow. Two more. How'd you do? Did you make it? How did it feel, right? Remember, your only job, especially as a beginner, is just to kind of observe what feels right, what doesn't feel right. We're going to do it a second time here, but I just want to, now that you've kind of got some under your belt, I want to talk about the diphthongs of it, right? So a diphthong is when one syllable has multiple sounds. For instance, most of our vowels are diphthongs. The letter I, for example, in I love to sing. You can't say the word or letter I without two sounds. Can you guess what they are? They're two sounds that it takes to create the letter I, right? You have an ah and you have an I or E, depending on how you say it. I. You can't say I without both of those sounds. Unfortunately, though, the second of those sounds, right, tends to be way more shallow, way more collapsed inside, right? Our soft palate, we talk about wanting it lifted and having lots of space inside of our mouth. But these diphthongs, the second part of it, tend to kind of close it off a little bit. For example, an I, right? I, whether you say E or I, it's more shallow than ah. Same thing with the letter O, right? Oh, ooh, oh. It takes a little bit of an ah and an ooh to make O. So that second sound is just a little too closed off. We can still sing diphthongs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying diphthongs are bad. I'm just saying that we should use them sparingly because we want our sound to have as much space as possible. So for the warm-up, ah, la, to, sing, what I've done is I've taken out the diphthongs. So I, right, ah, love. Now that one's not necessarily a diphthong, but that's just a vowel. It's just shallow in general. So we open it up to ah, la, and that also will have it or make it to where our vowels will match in that big jump in the beginning, right? That springboard note needs to be set before you jump up to that high note. So if our first note, if I is to collapse, we're gonna have a lot more trouble getting up to that high note. So ah, la, so we take out the diphthong, we've opened up the love instead of to, we've also opened it up. To is also a diphthong. Ooh. No, sorry. Scratch that. To is not a diphthong, but it does need to be opened up or else it'll stick out like a sore thumb. So we want to think like there's a tube in our mouth. To, and then seeing. Seeing. It's just going to be open. And like I said earlier, we don't want to really close to that G because it closes our sound. That's it. So ah, la, to, sing. Most of my students get frustrated in this one because they keep, especially with the word I, they keep the speaking version of it, right? I in their head. And so I still hear a little bit of the E. We want to completely take that E out of I in this warm up, right? So if you catch yourself, and you might want to record yourself just to listen back because it's hard to detect, but sometimes a little tiny sneaky E sneaks in there. And that's how I know that the student's not thinking about ah, they're thinking about I, right? They're thinking about both sounds of the diphthong. I only want the first. So, or your voice, I should say, only wants the first. Nice open spaces. So we're going to do that again. Start you down on E3. So, ah, la, to, sing. Excuse me. Here we go. Big breath. Breathe deep and low and slow. Ah, la, to, sing. Ah, la, to, sing. Relax the jaw. Ah, la, to, sing. Put your finger here if you need to. Ah, la, to, sing. Ah, la, to, sing. We're getting higher, so we need more air, more space. Ooh, love to sing. Sorry. Ah, love to sing. Ah, love to sing. Ah, love to sing. Lots of air. Ah, love to sing. Nice little rainbow. Ah, love to sing. I love to sing. One more, big breath. I love to sing. All right. Oh, I forgot we wanted to go down. So let's go back down for our guys. Sorry. Right here, ladies. Here we go. I love to sing. Oh, I should have breathed. I love to sing. There we go. I love to sing. I love to sing. You should feel open and big. I love to sing. I love to sing. There you go. Breathe. Like I said, it should feel a little operatic at this point. That's okay. We can always dial it back. I'd love to ask you guys to dial it back. So much easier than trying to push more through it. I love to sing. I love to sing. I love to sing. Guys, you're on your own. Don't forget to breathe. Sit up straight. One more. Finish strong. All right. So how did it feel, right? Even if you don't have technical terms, just observe what's going on. Did it feel right? Did it feel wrong? Did I feel nothing at all? Right? Like we said earlier, if it just felt like singing and you didn't feel strain or tenseness or anything like that, then my friend, you're doing it right. So again, thank you guys for being here. Thank yourselves for being here. Another good pat on the back, a nice round of applause. And as always, my friends, please stay golden, and I will see you next time. Bye.